Hey everyone, Zach here, and welcome to the 55th lesson of this RTS tutorial series. In this video, we will be setting up our support unit, which will heal our other units, it will repair the armor of our other units, and we'll set up the process in which it will support infantry units to have greater damage down the road. However, until our infantry unit is set up, we can't do that. Also, I'd like to apologize for the delay in getting this video up. Some things have happened in my non-YouTube life that have required my attention. So that said, there might be some changes to the schedule. There will be for next week, for example. I won't be doing infantry until the end of the week. And there might be some changes to my schedule in November. However, at that point, we should be nearing the end of this series. That said, fire up your editor and let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome back to the editor. So in this video, we're going to set up our support unit, which will heal the health and repair the armor of our other units. So the first thing we want to do is to create this unit. So go to your units folder, right click your unit master, and let's create an RTS support unit. Now, before we open up the support unit, let's open up the support unit. Pin that up there, go to our unit under details, master, unit profile, and change the unit type to support. Compile, save. Now let's open our unit master and let's add a new custom event. This custom event will be heal unit. Comment this out real quick as support unit events so I know what it is. Oh, that's not what I wanted to move. Let me undo that and move the comment box. Next, we are going to create a new function that we need, and that's going to be get target unit. So we have get target building, get target vehicle. We need to pass information on to our support units about what they're moving towards. So what we're going to do in here is we are going to have one input node, and this will be unit, and it will be of type RTS unit master. Object reference. We're going to promote this to a variable, and this will be our target unit. Unfortunately, this sometimes happens. Delete it if you have two blue nodes like that. Drag it back on, set, you should have one node. And then plug that into there. And like usual, we're going to have a return node, not return resources. All right, compile, save. Now, there is a small problem. There's something we haven't done yet. We haven't told the game what to do if a unit has been told to go to another unit, and that's very important. It's not only going to affect the support unit, it's going to affect our infantry unit in next week's videos. That will be next Friday in particular. I'll go over why the delay at the end of this video. So what we need to do is we need to go to our support unit, sorry, not our support unit, our player controller. So if you go into your blueprints, player controller, what we're going to do here is in our event graph, we are going to add in a new move to. But we're going to start in our get movement target. So let's open that up. Let's break this final one because let's not break it. We're going to put something else in the middle. So let's add a new parameter to this. And that new parameter will be move to unit. So move to unit. It'll be an execution, and it's going to be the second to last. Because move to location should be the fallback. It should be the default that happens if everything else is false. So if you think about this in terms of like enum switches, for example, this is your default at the very end if everything else falls through. Just realize that falls through is not the correct term. So if you know what I mean when I talk about C++ there, please don't be upset. All right, let's break that last node. But it is the default for enums. Add our branching. the true off this branch will be going up to that new move to unit eventually. The false will still be this bit. What we are going to do is we're going to just copy or duplicate that down here. So the hit actor, get class, class is child of, plug the conditional statement in. What we're going to change is what it's class of. So it should be RTS unit master. So it should be of this class. If that's true, let's duplicate our hit actor again. We are going to cast to RTSU. Okay, that I typed it incorrectly. RTS unit master. There we go. The true goes into there. And there we have it. Now, we already have a unit sort of target variable, but it's only for selected units. This is going to be a particular type of unit. So we're going to create a new type of variable. Sorry, not a new type. We're going to create a new variable that's going to store our unit master information, and that will be targeted or target unit. Just like we have target resource and target vehicle, we now have target unit. That will go into our move to unit. Compile, save, go back to our event graph. Let's just very quickly move this down here. Right click somewhere nearby, do custom event, and this will be move to unit. So just go back to our get recruitment target, the outside of the macro, drag off of it, and do move to unit. We want to call the function, because remember, this is a function. We're just calling this to trigger the event over here, which has the functions off the back of it. So I'm just going to move this closer to our other move to items. And I'm going to get my target unit. I'm also going to get my selected unit. I'm just going to duplicate it over here. And I'm going to search for get unit target. So our target, ooh, that's actually going to be confusing. So the target, remember, is the thing that's running the function. The unit is what we're actually targeting our targeted unit. Sorry, let me try that again. The target is the function that is running, the blueprint that's running this function. The unit is what this unit, the selected unit, is targeting. So we're just going to run that as normal. There we go. And we're going to have to put the move to macro in for now. We're going to have to change this down the road. So I just control W'd it in. And all we're going to do is move to unit. I was going to say move to target, but it's move to unit. Just going to clean this up a tiny bit. There we go. Just make sure everything in here looks like it's right. Yes, it is. Compile, save. So next, let's just make sure that we can also spawn this unit in before we forget to do that. And what we're going to do is just like we did in the other videos, we're going to go to our buildings, military buildings, training post. And on our support unit, which is the final one, we can now search for our support unit. So now it should be our engineer, our harvester, and our support. In next Friday's video, we'll start doing the stuff for the infantry. Compile and save. And we can actually close this out. But let's test this, make sure it actually works. Let's go into our game. Let's get a support unit. We could test this with any unit, but we'll start with the support unit. There it is. Let's send them over to this unit. So they're coming to it. We don't have the placement decal, except for I selected 2 units by accident. There we go. So it is working. All right. Now we just need to give our support unit its functionality. Now to do so, what we're going to do is we are going to actually create some new events on that unit and some new components that the other units don't have. And when we do the, boosting other units, which we can't do until we have our infantry unit in place. So when we have our infantry unit in place, we'll also make our support unit, if it's nearby the infantry unit and not healing a target, give a bonus to the damage of that unit. So, but first we can only handle the healing events. And what we're going to do for that is we're going to go to our viewport. We're going to add a component to our collision capsule, or capsule component. And this will be box collision. I'm just going to name this support entry. just like our building entry. So we're doing things a little bit reverse with this one, but that's fine. We're going to set that to 3.0, 3.0, 3.0. And then I'm just going to go to my left perspective for a moment, make sure that it's properly lined up. And that's close enough. Compile. Go back to my perspective view. And now I'm going to go into my event graph. And on my event, oh, sorry, we don't have it yet. Let's get my event heal unit. So heal unit. We want the call or add event. So remember, I was getting this from the parent. Now, we want it to heal the armor, or heal the health and repair the armor. So we need to check for both. And we're going to do both checks independently. So it's going to be either or in this case. Let's create our pure functions for this to work. So what we need to do is, well, create new function. And this will be check target health. We will get our target unit, because remember, it's made in our parent. We will check, is this a valid thing? If it's not valid, we don't need anything done. Wrong is valid. Use the one with the question mark. So is this valid? If it is, then what we want to do is we want to check, is the current health less than the max health? So grab off of here, current health. Just put another reroute in just so the health bits are on the same reroute. Just a better way to organize for me. Max health. And we're going to check, are these two the same? Or is current health less than max health? So if it is less than our max health, then we are damaged. So we're going to create a local variable, and this will be health damaged local. And we're going to set that on the is valid. So if this statement is true, if current health is less than our max health, it'll set the local to true. If it's not, it'll set it to false. And then we're going to have our return node here with one output, and that will be is health is damaged. So if that statement is true, then we want to heal the unit or engage in the healing process. The next thing we're going to need is to check our armor, which is pretty much going to be the same code. So I'm going to just cheat a tiny bit and copy as much of this as I can. So Control C, create new function, and that'll be check target armor. Go ahead and paste that in. We're just going to change out our current health for our current armor. So current armor, and change out our max health after we plug this in for our max armor. So max armor. And if this statement is true or false, we want to set it as a local variable again, but it will be our armor variable we're looking at, which is armor. Help me type there. Armor is, or armor damaged local. Again, we're going to set this on the is valid because we don't want it running if target unit is not valid. And finally, we'll do our return node. And on this return node, we are going to have our armor is damage return. Plug in our local there. There we go. Compile, save, return to the main window, and, well, I've got one thing. Set both of those to pure. Otherwise, you're going to run into some fun issues. So now they're both pure functions. We don't need to plug in the execute pin to them to get these variables set. It will just run them and check. So if either of these statements are true, we want to engage in healing. However, there is one more thing we're going to want. We can actually do this either here or inside the function. We're going to do it inside the function just to make life a little bit easier. So we're going to do set timer by function name. And just because we used repair before, it's going to be repair unit. I'm going to Control C, copy that. Again, this is looping. So let's create our new function of repair unit. Just paste the old name in that we had there. And I'm going to create a new variable here. So let me, there we go. And the new variable is going to be is at target. So it'll be a Boolean variable. So it's going to go into my bool category as usual. And the first thing I want to do is I want to check, are we at target? And I'll explain what this does in a second, where we set this. But remember that we need something to trigger this event. Sorry, to trigger this event. And in every other blueprint we've had, building or vehicle, something has collided with a box collider to trigger that event. So we are doing the same thing here, but instead of having it on every unit, this box collider, like we do every building or every vehicle, we're only going to have it on support units. It just makes activating this a little bit less costly, but it does make it trickier in setting up the logic. So we'll set this when a unit crosses in, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to have another branch. We need to know, is our armor damaged or our health or both? But we're going to check one at a time, and we're only going to repair one at a time. So to me, it doesn't matter if the armor is damaged if the person's dead. You can't repair armor and hope the dead person can keep doing their thing. So we're going to repair health first. So that's why we check health. And it's just going to be like what we had last time. We are going to have a new variable, which will be repair time. It'll be a float. We're going to set it off this true. There we go. And it's going to be set to our set game time, which comes from our function library. Game time goes into there. Initial game time is our repair time. We have our game speed from our parent. And we have our delta time, which is delta time, and again, comes from our parent. There we go. Just going to organize this a tiny bit more because we're going to come off the false as well in a second. Just like we did with the units, with the buildings, we are going to get our target unit instead of target building though, and we're going to update the health bar. So update unit. Did I spell health wrong? Yes, I have an extra L in health for some reason. Let's go back to our unit master and just address that real quick because it's going to drive me crazy. So, oh no, it's the function, isn't it? There we go. Let's just rename that and get rid of that extra L. It's for some reason the start of the word there. There we go. Compile, save. I am the king of typos if you can't tell based on anything you've seen in the stream. So it's updated here as well. Probably another typo somewhere in there. And yes, I know I haven't changed the February typo. I'm still leaving that in because I made the joke I was going to make a typo right as I made it. And I just been too lazy to change it, to be honest. So we'll do current health. And we'll set current health as well. So again, what's happening is we're going to take the value on our repair time, add it to our current health, and take that value and plug it into what our current health is. There we go. And, oh no, sorry, that's not right. Ignore what I just did there. Do not plug your current health directly into your current health like that. That will do nothing. I'll just keep resetting the current health as itself. So we're going to come off of this repair time. We're going to multiply by 60. So float by float. Ooh, that was integer. Sorry about that. We're going to do float by float. 60. And then we're going to divide this by 100. Now, I want repairs to happen rather quickly. And you can change this. You can, again, play around with it. I'm showing you a third way of doing things. So remember, the first one is in the resource harvester. The second one is in the engineer units. This is a third way of doing it. And this one's going to be the fastest in terms of how quickly it does its job. We'll do float plus float. Plug those in. And remember, speed isn't everything. You might want it to be more challenging. Plug that in. And then what we're going to do is we're going to check our health again. So we want to branch. We want to know, once this is done, have we actually healed the unit completely? If not, then it's just going to loop back through here. If we have, however, it's going to come through and we're going to set our current health to our max health, just like we did with our unit. So if it's false, if health is not damaged, we want to set our current health to our max health. Plug that into there. Put a lovely little reroute into there. There we go. It's actually not going to line up nicely, but meh. Don't need to worry about the true on this one. I also just want to reset the repair time here to 0. And then we are going to check our armor, if that's damaged or not, and repair it. So if our health isn't damaged, we're going to skip right to our armor. If our health is damaged, we do our health first, then we repair our armor. But to do that skipping health bit, I need to put a reroute in here. Move that up just a little bit. And do our target armor check here. From this reroute, I'm going to go back to the second branch we have, which is our check target health. We are assuming we're already at target. If it isn't true, then it's just going to go to a false anyway, and nothing's going to happen. I'm just going to move all this down here so we can see where it's going. Plug that second reroute in somewhere over here. And again, there we go. So if it is already at full health, it's going to skip all of this and jump straight to checking, is the armor damaged? Now, literally, it's going to be the same thing. So we're just going to copy all of this over. Say literally it's going to be the same thing. It's actually going to be two things different. Control W it in. Move it down here. And again, this will be off the true. So if the armor is damaged, we want to get rid of that and update our armor bar. Plug that into there. Plug that into there. We want to change our current health to our current armor. Plug that into there. Actually, can we just move that up there? We can do the same on the other side too. Which meant that, whatever. And the next thing is, of course, this is not going to be current health, but again, current armor as a setter. Plug that into there. Plug that into there. And finally, we want to check, is the armor still damaged at the end of this branch? Because we want to stop it at some point. And all we're going to do is get our check armor. And if it is repaired, then we want it to stop. So let's go to our event graph, copy, Control C, our function by name. Again, you could use a timer handle. Paste that into there. And hook up the execute pin to the false. Put a reroute in because we're going to want to skip something. And we want to skip all of this if the armor is already repaired. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I'll run through it once anyway. Sorry, I'm not sure why it's not letting me type. Change that to 0. Remove the looping. We are going to want to turn off is at target. And we're going to want to clear our target unit. Sorry, that's the wrong thing. Actually, we could do it that way. I just like using the set target unit from this instead. We have skipped one thing, which is actually making sure that this is at full health. So what we're going to do is actually break that reroute for a second. At full armor. We're going to grab our current armor and set it to our max armor, just so we know we haven't accidentally gone over what our current armor should be when it's repaired. So when this statement is no longer false, we just want to make sure that our current armor is really at a value that it can be and not exceeding any values we want it to. And so let's get our max armor. Plug that into there. Move this along. We're still going to need a little bit of room. Now, this extra reroute we're putting in, this extra step, is not necessary. It's just a good fallback in case things go sideways. So off the false on the is armor damaged, I'm putting that reroute in. So if the armor is not damaged, let's say it's only health, it skips checking the armor and repairing it. But it is a good fallback, because if the armor isn't damaged, it's automatically going to say false. But I just want to make sure that we can actually get to turn off this is target and stop it from looping, so we're not wasting resources. So compile, save. Now, when we do this, nothing's going to happen if we move the unit towards the other unit. It's not going to trigger this event ever. We're not calling this anywhere. So what we need to do is we need to, just like with our unit harvester, get our component and do on component begin overlap. And we're going to have a few different things on here down the road. But to give you an idea, we'll start some of it actually, but we're going to leave it blank though. But we'll do what we need for today's lesson. We are going to make sure this is equal. We want to make sure it's equal to our target unit. We're going to put a reroute in here, by the way, because we're going to do a little bit for the infantry support that we'll do later on. If it is equal to our target unit, we're going to branch off, and we are going to actually plug the branch into the execute first, and we're going to set is target as true. I'm just going to put a reroute in so it's just a little bit neater looking. And then we're going to trigger heal unit. So heal unit, we're going to call the event. Now if this is false, we're going to have another branch. We're not going to do anything with this particular branch. We're just having this here for, we're just having this up for something we'll do later on. What we're going to do off of here is we are going to pull from this. We're going to do get class. And we want to see, is the class equal to something? And we might change this from the parent to the, sorry, not is equal to, is child of, to being, we might change this from being is child of to being equal to. So we might want to have it run where the support unit makes harvesters harvest faster, or repair units work faster. So RTS unit master. So that's what this setup would do. We might also just want it to be for just the infantry unit, in which case this would be return value equals infantry unit. And we'll set this bit up in a few videos time, but it's just good to have it set up and ready to go for now. So we've set up our support unit. Let's make sure it actually works. Let's put a support unit on the map just to save ourselves some time in recruiting one. We're going to just put it right over here. We can see that it has that box collision around it. That should not show up in game. Is spawn should be false. Also, that should be is false on this one, because they're not spawned in. We're placing them in. Control S save. Hit play. There's our support unit. Make sure I didn't somehow get other units. I did. And let's send it to our engineer unit. Let's see it heal it. Does not appear to be healing. I'm just going to speed the time up just to make sure. So, what's gone wrong? Let's look at our support unit. Let's go into our repair. This is not firing. So what we're going to do is we're just going to stop it for a second. We're going to go to our event graph. We're going to put a break on this on component begin to overlap. Oh. Actually, remove that break. We skipped one small thing. This is at target should be true. If it isn't, nothing's going to happen. Now hit play. Grab our support unit. And send it over there. Okay. Send it to that unit. There we go. We can see that it's healing. So there it starts to heal. When it's at full health, it should start in on the armor. And there we go. As you can see, it's also going faster than our support unit, than our engineer units and our harvester units. Now, I said to be doing infantry next in earlier videos. However, due to some stuff in my personal life and my work life, I'm going to have to delay doing the prep work for that. So that probably won't come out until late next week on Friday. So on Monday instead, what we're going to do is we are going to add in, oops, sorry, that was the wrong thing. We are going to add in, when we start spawning in units, a list of the units being spawned in, so we can also cancel their training and have their resources returned. That said, that video should be out on the regular schedule on Monday. Again, sorry for getting this video out late to you guys, but if you have enjoyed this video or the series, think about leaving a like down below. I'm also aware of the issue with the box selector. I am looking into that, by the way. And make sure to hit that subscribe and notify icon so you know when the next tutorial is out. As always, I look forward to seeing you in the next tutorial, and I hope that you have a wonderful day.